to revisit the Instagram thing that we talked about. The world has changed.
Yes.
Since, whether you call it Facebook or whether you call it Instagram, let's just say 2010.
Okay.
What year do you want to kind of put this schism, whatever it is?
Yeah.
I don't know. What year would you say?
I would say it's, that's a great question. Yeah. I'd say around 2012, a lot of things started to come off the hinges. And then I'd say by around 2015, 2016, it had kind of gone full steam.
We're right there.
Yeah.
We're on the same page there. But, you know, some people could say Facebook, because now you can go look and that's the girl that you liked in high school. Now you're friends with her.
I think it's when people started carrying it around in their pocket all the time.
That too.
Yeah.
And then Instagram out there, you know, so there's a couple things that come to mind. There's the FOMO, right? There's there's all this going on, but I'm stuck at home over here.
Yeah.
And now it's a global dating marketplace. You used to just go to the, you know, your local watering hole in Dallas or Des Moines or in Delaware or whatever, D city or B city, whatever. And now it's a global dating marketplace. And now you're not competing with the people in your hometown. You're competing with the people in your country. You're competing with people around the world.
Yep.
You know, you said how you met your friend. You know, I didn't go there. But these DMs, speaking of D cities, the DMs that changed the life. I also think that there's something, I learned this the hard way, that comparison is the thief of joy. So now you have so much to compare with. Well, there's this, and there's so many options out there. You ever go to the cheesecake menu?
Oh, yep.
And now you see, like, all right, do I want to order this or this or this or this or this or this or this? So what does that mean to people who are already married? Those people missed the boat, but they still have a phone. They still have Facebook. They still have Instagram. They still have... So now they're like, well, did I make the right decision? Did I not make the right? I have these kids, you know, but men are still compared to men of all time. Are you a provider, you're a protector, you're being present for your women. There's still going to be accountability there for that. Women, as you're getting older, all right, so I love my wife and all that, but damn, you see that? Like, there's always going to be that, and now it's even more amplified right now. So I think it's even proven that these algorithms and these social media apps are making life harder and harder and harder. And what we're seeing in America for sure is that less people are getting married, or they're certainly delaying marriage. Less people are having kids. Less women are having kids. More women have bought into the feminism type of things. I don't need no man. What I call the Chelsea Handler lifestyle.
Yes.
The few percentage of dudes that can be that dude that, like, makes money, has a lot of chicks, you know, hypergamy, they're going to, you know, reap the benefits of getting all the money and all the women and all the views and all the clicks. That's great. But then you have 80 other % of men that are like, yo, what about me over here, bro?
Yeah.
But they need to realize they need to get into that category. So there's just so much going on. But relationships are hard enough.
Yes.
The reason they call it the one is because 99% of the time they don't work out.
Yeah.
And you marry the 1%. But now you throw in social media and you throw in algorithms and you throw in a global dating marketplace. There's so much competition out there. Like, competition is supposed to be good. That's capitalism, options. But now there's so many options and there's so much stuff going on that I think it's hard to be satisfied in the current situation that you're in. But even if you're kind of satisfied in whatever situation you're in, you can always be like, well, let's roll the dice and see what else is out there. So I think it's more complicated than ever. But one thing that kind of rest assured about, at least for a man out there, is you know that you don't want to have multiple baby mamas.
Yep.
I assume that's not a good thing for most people.
Not an aspiration.
You want to have kids. So you use that as a general framework, and then you let the rest kind of be figured out along the way. But it's not easy these days.
No, yeah. I think I often say that anyone who's been married for certainly 10 plus years, but you could maybe even say 7+ years, 99% chance they don't quite get just how much it's changed, let alone people who have been married for like decades and decades. Yeah, some stuff has stayed the same because human beings are human beings. Some of the challenges of being a man or being a woman, like, that doesn't change. That's just eternal. But people massively underestimate the technological shift and just how much of an impact it's had. It's interesting as well because you talk about sort of options and availability. And I think that for both men and women, a lot of it is an illusion, right? Because, yeah, you described that situation, you know, a man might be in and, you know, he's got his wife or whatever, and he's, you know, gosh, you're seeing this and you're seeing that and you're seeing that. But just because you can see something or there's someone out there, it doesn't mean these are all real options. It's the same. Even if you're a super attractive woman, you'll have thousands, millions of options of men who would be happy to jump into bed with you or to date you, but what percentage of those men would be willing to commit to you? Exactly. Like to truly commit, not like sex is not a high bar, not for men, right? But what percentage, okay, oh, I've got all these options, like these guys are interested. It's like, sure, lots of men are thirsty. There's lots of thirsty men on the internet, but don't be getting gassed up thinking all of those men want to marry you and want to put a ring on your finger and will commit to you and make those. And I find when people actually can like shift that mindset and understand it, and then understand that, like, look, I believe very much that love is an act of will and it's a choice. I haven't been married yet. I will get married in the future and have children. But I think oftentimes people miss that it's like, it's not just passive, right? It's like a concerted effort and long-term desire, and it's a commitment. Mm-hmm. It's a commitment. And
let me add one thing.
Sure.
There used to be a time. So you said your parents were married 48 years.
Yeah, 48 years. Yeah. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and I'm 37. Wow. So if I do the math, I think 48 years. Yeah.
What did your mom do? What did your dad do?
My mom was when they met.
Yeah.
My dad was a physician.
Okay, gotcha.
And my mom was a university student at the time.
All right. So
yeah.
Classic.
About a 9-10 year age gap.
She was probably pretty, and he was successful.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty classic.
Or successful on the path towards it.
On the path towards it. So, there used to be a time when an average guy, a hardworking guy, lunch pail worker guy, could get a normal, average, good-looking wife.
Yeah.
And that was a fair trade.
Yes.
He's got a job. He's going to provide and protect for his woman. And he's going to be there for his woman. She's going to be a good wife. She's going to cook and clean with him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that women shouldn't go to school. I'm not saying that women shouldn't educate themselves whatsoever. But, hypergamy, women started succeeding and doing better. And they would look down on this guy if he doesn't have a college degree. Mm-hmm. And now that woman wants only a top guy.
Yes.
And the pool shrinks as women get moved better up.
Yes, they price themselves out.
So, and that's regardless of their career. So now there's women, especially if you're attractive, especially if you're online, you get so many guys sliding in your DM. There's so many guys saying, hey, you're so pretty, you're so doing this. And those are just regular women.
Yes.
Imagine the women who are doing OnlyFans or sex workers, and there's more than there should be.
Yes, by far.
And they're getting all the attention, and the guys are telling them they're so hot that their cup is overflowing with validation, and you're the best, you're the hottest, you're the thing ever. So now that girl goes out into the real world, and she gets hit on by a normal guy that traditionally she should pay attention to. She's like, what do you want? Like, she has that attitude that, I'm better than thou attitude, even if she's doing OnlyFans, right? Because she's just getting that attention and validation all day, every day from social media, that when it happens in real life, when actually a good dude says, hey, how are you?
Can't recognize it.
Instead of saying, hey, how are you as well? She's just like, I've already had my attention for the day. So, but those women, those women, they're beautiful, gorgeous, whatever. They still want the Zubys of the world. They still want the top dogs. But if you're not on that level, there's a 90% chance they want nothing to do with you. So it's harder than ever for a guy out there, and it's kind of easier than ever for a girl out there. The only difference is it's harder for a woman to actually get who has to propose.
The man.
A guy will hit it.
Yes, that's my point. Yeah.
I have one buddy I call him Mr. 2 to 10.
Yeah.
Because he'll take you down if you're a 10, and he'll take you down if you're 2. Just depends on how much use his stuff.
Yeah.
But that is very hard to do. But you have to be that dude. So it's harder than ever.
Yeah.
Really what I'm saying.
No doubt. Okay. Beyond, obviously we've talked about leveling up as a man. I know, but the primary people who do listen to this podcast, and I assume yours as well, it is predominantly young to middle-aged men.
Yeah.
Where do you see this all going? We've talked about on your podcast being in the first quarter of the next century. We've got robotics coming down the pipeline. We've got artificial intelligence coming down the pipeline. Where do you think this all goes, for better or worse? I would just
and in general, or what?
Man, that's a fantastic question. I was actually thinking along the point of what we were just talking about in terms of dating, relationships, marriage, family formation, that whole world. We've talked about how technology has disrupted it in the past 10 to 15 years. And I see many more technological disruptions coming down the pipeline probably sooner than people think. Well, what's your opinion on that?
Look, I'm the last person, maybe in the world, to give you the AI answer about virtual reality. And like, you know, I learned this with the metaverse. Like, you know, people are talking about the metaverse. I'm actually worried about what's going on in the universe. Yes. I don't know what's going on with augmented reality or virtual reality. I'm trying to focus on reality. Here's what I know. Men are judged on 3 different categories. Your wealth, how much money you can make, and everything that kind of falls into that, right? We can all agree that making money and being successful is incumbent for a man, okay? Name a poor guy that people are talking about these days, whether it's Elon Musk, whether it's LeBron James, whether it's Jay-Z, whether it's Patrick Bet-David. They've all made some money and made their mark in this world. Cool. The next thing is, like you talked about earlier, the easiest thing you can do is look your best. Yes. Dress well, work out, like don't be a slob. You know, there's a new study out there that's showing that men with breasts are going to have a lower life expectancy. We're like, yeah, no shit, men shouldn't have breasts. Yeah. So you don't have to be ripped. You don't have to be, you know, 6-pack up, but just
above average.
Look good. Yep. Have some style. Have some flair. You're not going to always be looking like Miami Vice Crompton House over here. But just look your best. Yep. But then the other thing is acting your best. Yes. So that's being a man of principles, a man of character, a man of integrity. And everyone has a different type of game. You know, the guys out there that are super funny and super charming. Women love them. But you also guys know that are super romantic and like passionate. Women love that too. We also know guys that are super intellectual. So, but there's
creative, artistic, playing the guitar by the fire.
All that above. But if you're, and I judge myself as, so those 3 things, that triangle is what I call your status of a man. Okay. So you might be high on money, but you might be fat and sloppy. You might be a shitty person. If you add up the score, you have a 10 on money, but a 0 and 0 on everything else. But as long as you're in the top 10% of one of the 3 categories, you're going to be okay. Yep. If you're a rich guy, but you're kind of, you know, sloppy, but you don't have the best personality, you can rely on your money a little bit. If you're a super fit guy, right? Yes. Women are going to be attracted to you. You're going to make your way in this world, but you might have a lame personality. You might be broke. You live with your mom. That's only going to get you so far. Yeah. You might be super charismatic. You might be super amazing. Women love a sense of humor, all that, but you might be broke and you might be sloppy. Yeah. But if you can be in the top 10% of any of those categories, especially if you can be the top 10% of 2 of the categories, or if you can be the top 10% of all 3 of those categories, where you can be wealthy, you can be looking your best, healthy, but also a man of integrity and honor. That's what I would call the top G, or a high-value man. But it's hard to do all 3. So that's what I would say, is that whether AI shows up or VR shows up or whatever it is, if you can be successful, good-looking, and have your shit together and be a good person, I think that is time.